Welcome to the Global Gaming Business Podcast. I'm Roger Gros, the editor-at-large for GGB, and I'm here with Jeff Favre, the director of table game for Live Casino in Philadelphia. Jeff, thanks for joining us. We're here at the Hard Rock in Atlantic City for the East Coast Gaming Congress, and we look forward to getting together with you. So this should be fun.
Oh, thanks, Roger. I appreciate you having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. Look forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Well, you know, I was a dealer in my former life. I worked for about 5 years there in Atlantic City as a dealer at several properties, and so I kind of have that affinity for table games. I really enjoy doing it, watching the dealers, and I know it's a real labor of love for the people that are involved in it. So, why don't you start by telling us when you joined Live in Philadelphia? What did you see when you got there? Was it a tight group, and were they doing a good job, or did you have to make any changes?
First I want to say, hats off to the team because, they're a solid team.
Yeah.
And they had executed the opening in 2021. A lot of the same people that executed that opening. In fact, the shift managers, they're pretty much in the same roles today.
Sure.
And fabulous property, has done a great job.
Yeah.
And I came in. I knew it was going to be a challenge.
Mhm.
Table games is always a challenge. It doesn't matter.
Sure. Oh,
It
no.
doesn't matter if you.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you have the greatest team and all conditions are on your side and in your favor.
Right.
It's still a challenge. So,
No question.
we had lost some market share, and was needing to recapture that back. And we had some challenges with some other things that were taking place.
Sure.
And so I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I came in knowing what to expect and probably underestimated it a little bit.
Mhm.
I did. And I think that, it's forced me to take a step back and look at things a little bit differently.
Sure.
And reapproach it kind of from a different angle or a different mindset. But at the end of the day, I can tell you that the team has performed.
Mhm.
And we're more than capable of performing. It's just a matter of getting all of us on the same page.
Sure.
And working for the same common goal, and being in, you hear teams talk about the chemistry is right, and they're hitting on all cylinders.
Right.
And those kind of things. What's really is that's what it's about.
Sure.
The talent is there, the capability is there, and we can do it. It's just a matter of all of us coming together and working as one.
Okay, great. So I know there are probably rules of the game set before you got there, but what's your basic philosophy? Do you like to offer the 6-5 blackjack and the triple zero roulette, or or would you like to see it more of a player friendly type of atmosphere?
I'm I'm an advocate and believe that we should be player friendly.
Mhm.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I guess depending on how you look at it, 6 to 5 is not offered in PA,
Right. Okay.
so you can't offer it. So it's not an option.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted
Okay.
to, you can't put it into play.
Mhm.
But from a gambler's perspective, they understand the math. They understand the math a lot of times better than we do,
Sure.
and they're going to chase the better bet.
Mhm.
And I mean that's the whole reason why we exist. And so I'm a player friendly
Okay.
guy.
So how do you start with your table limit? Start lower in the morning and then raise them as it gets busier.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we kind of we try and keep two low limit games, two $10 on blackjacks.
Okay.
We have one of those games being Double Down Madness, which is just it's a blackjack variant.
Sure.
And we try and keep two of those pretty much at $10 all day every day.
Mhm.
So that we can have a $10 game, and then from there we yield it up
Yeah.
when business dictates.
Mhm. Okay, great. So, we just mentioned, that you can have the greatest equipment, the greatest games, but it's a people business, with,
Without a doubt.
you have to communicate with your team, and the team has to communicate with the players on a level that people enjoy. So how do you do that? I mean, obviously, before you hire people, they've got to have that kind of atmosphere, that kind of attitude, but how do you keep that up? Because it's kind of a grind. I mean, when I didn't like being a blackjack dealer when I was.
It is a grind. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, I'm only one person, and my shifts only run one shift,
Hmm.
and of course that we work 24/7, and trying to touch every team member and keeping everybody on the same page, moving forward at the same beat is a very difficult challenge to do. Hiring people that you can you either you have a relationship with or in
Sure.
the past that's going to execute what you want them to execute, or you take and you mold the team that you have, which is more so what I've been tasked to do and what I've been doing. It's just a matter of getting them to believe in your approach and the mindset, and and giving them examples and demonstrations of why it makes a difference, and how it's going to have an impact.
Hmm.
And when they start to see it, then they start to believe it.
Right.
And really, it's probably more so that. Of course, you got some following up, and there's some tough conversations that have to take place every
Sure.
now and then that
Right.
that no one really enjoys
Right.
doing. It's not the fun part of the job. It's not the part that anybody really likes to relish in. But you know, you have to have them, and they have to have them as well.
Right.
And you weed out the bad apple, so to speak,
Right.
and hopefully you're left with a good, solid core group, and
Right.
and that group cares.
Hmm.
They come into work, they want to be there. It's still 80-20 rule.
Yep.
80% wants to be there, 20% doesn't really care about it no matter what.
Right.
They wake up disappointed and like pretty much almost every day.
Hmm.
We try and weed those out, and keep them from infecting or tainting
Sure.
the 80%.
Right.
And we got to keep the 80% in the right favor. Make 80% 85, make it 90.
Hmm.
And if we do that, then eventually we'll get to where we need to get to.
Right. Right. Well, I would consider myself in the 80% percentile when I was working, but there used to be some players that were just nasty players, and you had to keep your mouth shut, and I couldn't do that all the time. So
I won't go into great details, but I mean, I'm sitting in the office yesterday, and there's a dealer comes in, and there's a shouting match taking
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
And the shouting match is between my pit manager, one of my senior pit managers, and a dealer. That they basically exactly what you're talking
Right.
about. And the shouting match, finally I just got up and I'm like, hey, can we tone it down a little bit? I'm like, can we talk about this? We don't have to holler at each other.
Sure.
But I mean, along the lines of what you're talking about, I mean, unfortunately, players can be ugly at times, and as long as they're keeping it somewhat decent and respectful. I mean, I ask the team to tolerate it. I will not tolerate them being threatened, or
Sure.
put
Right.
their
Right.
their lives at risk or anything like that. But
Yeah.
you're going to hear some choice words. You're going to hear some things that what, they're only words.
Right.
They're only words. And like my dad told me when I was a young kid, and he was a football coach, and I was on the sideline, and this one parent was saying some pretty nasty things, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, and I'm like, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, Dad. I mean, like, why does he say these things? He said, son, don't worry about that. He said, look, if it doesn't bother me, why should it bother you? If you let it bother you, it's gonna drive you crazy.
Mhm.
And don't listen to it. Don't worry about it. It's just words.
Right. No question. So let's talk about new table games. I know you have the wide variety of table games. You got everything. Every casino would have the baccaras, even the Asian games. Yeah. But what's your philosophy on like bringing in new games? What do they have to do for you to be able to replace something on your floor?
I mean, depending on the traditional games, the core games that we've always depended on is without a doubt your bread and butter, and
Right.
I'm not going to turn my back on that. But I think that any chance you get to try something new,
Mhm.
I think is worth trying.
Right.
Um, but are you willing to truly try it? Meaning, are you going to give it prime real estate?
Right.
Are you going to try and market it? Are you going to give it a chance to survive?
Sure.
A lot of times people put games in a place that doesn't have much foot traffic, doesn't have much marketing, doesn't have much you know advertising or anything behind it. So are you really truly trying to give it a chance, or you just saying that?
Right.
So I think if you're going to try it. I mean, I think you need to try it.
Sure.
I mean, I think you need to put forth the effort and give it a real chance.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got 90 days at a minimum,
Right.
before you can even really begin to start to judge.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's kind of that approach where if you're gonna try it, truly give it a chance to
Sure.
succeed,
Right.
and put forth the efforts and all the other things behind it that gives it a chance to be successful.
Right.
A lot of them, my biggest challenge is they don't have, you know, legs.
Yeah.
They,
Sure.
they,
Right.
they don't have staying power.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well,
if they can have staying power, they can stay.
yeah. Well, I've always concluded that if you're pitching a game to a casino and you go through all the regulatory things you have to do to get a game into a casino, you ought to stand behind that game and teach people how to play it, let them understand. So so
You actually got a valid point. A lot of times, you know, I've done launches and installs where you look around after a week and it's like, well, where are they?
yeah, right,
They're nowhere to be found.
right,
Then you're calling, you're asking for help, or you're calling, how do we do this, or can
Right.
we get this, or can we? They
yeah, they did.
some of them don't even return your calls.
Yeah, right.
Some of them don't even return your calls.
I remember this was on the coast actually, in the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I was down there, and Derek Webb was down there pitching 3-card poker, and he stood behind that game for 24 hours sometimes to get people to sit down and show them how to play the game.
It's a good game. It's probably part of the reason, or one of the main reasons why the game is pretty successful and popular in almost every jurisdiction.
Mhm. Yeah, no question about it. So, your brother is Brett Favre, the famous quarterback. Does that help? Does that ever help you in your career, or did it actually hinder you at times?
You know, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'd say a little bit of both. Um, you know, you have people say sometimes, I hear stuff like, "Oh, the only reason why you have that job is because of your
Sure.
brother Brett." I'm like, well, you know, I won't say the choice words or some of them that I would like to say, but
Yeah.
I'll say this: that, you know what? I said my brother has nothing to do with what I do
Right.
for a living. I said, I can't do his job,
Mhm.
and he can't do my job. Over time, of course, you know, anybody, you know, with proper training and, you know, mentoring, you know, tutelage can do it. But
Right.
I said, but right now he couldn't step into my job. I said, it has nothing to do with what I do for
Sure,
a career.
right.
It doesn't matter running a casino. Yeah, he can definitely quarterback a team, and he's a great leader and a great quarterback. But he has nothing to do with what I do,
Yeah.
you know, on a
Right.
daily basis. Sure, he may understand blackjack, understand how to play blackjack, but when
Right.
it comes down to it, it has nothing to do with it, and he has no interest in any casino as far as ownership or anything like that.
Yeah.
So why do you even say that?
Yeah.
But you know, you get some people that's very, um, um, you know, they're excited. You know, hey, Brett Favre, that's
Yeah.
really cool. You
Yeah,
know,
sure.
and what's it like to be Brett Favre's brother? I asked him, I said, do you have a brother?
Yeah.
What's it like being?
Right. Yeah.
What's it
Exactly.
like being a brother? I said, it's no different, really.
Yeah.
So mine just happens to be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's really it. At the end of the day, I mean, we grew up pretty simple.
Yeah.
Kind of an all-American story when you really think about it.
Sure.
Because my dad was a football coach, baseball coach. They were both teachers in Mississippi, probably one of the lowest, you know, in rankings as
Sure.
far as every category you can almost
Just
think of.
above Nevada, though. So.
And my dad pushed us. He
Yeah.
pushed us hard to play ball,
Mhm.
and he was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he he was tough on us. He didn't. There was no softness in him.
What position did you play?
I played quarterback. I played a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Actually, I
okay.
played pretty much wherever he needed me. I did. I tell you, I had the deep snap on the B team. We played
Okay.
the B team games on Monday night.
Right.
I started on varsity, but I had to play B team. All my other friends they didn't even dress out. They got to watch it like from stands.
Right, yeah.
But I had to dress out
Mhm.
because I had to snap for punch.
Sure.
'Cause I was the only one that could do it.
Right.
So my dad made me do it. So this was all the way through pretty
Yeah.
much high school.
Mm.
Because he couldn't have anybody else that could do it. So you know, I had to do it. But I played pretty much, you name a position, everything except offense, defensive line.
Yeah.
Everything else I pretty much played.
Right.
So he used me as a utility, kind of wherever he needed me, and I was football smart, understood the game really well, but I was just too short, too slow.
Yeah.
And Brett had a cannon. Well, my oldest brother Scott, they're pretty much the same
Yeah.
same build, same height, and he
Mhm.
was a hell of a ball player too. He
Yeah.
just didn't get the breaks and the luck that Brett did. Not discounting anything that Brett accomplished, because
Sure.
boy could play. I mean, he was fun to watch.
Right.
I mean, he could do things that just absolutely amaze you. But at the same time, he would do things and be like, "What the hell? How did you just do that? Why would you make that throw?" And then the next one would be like, "Wow,
Yeah.
how did you make that play?"
Yeah.
So it was from love to hate real quick,
Yeah.
for a lot of people. But he was fun to watch. You never knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Never knew what he was going to do.
Absolutely.
But it helped and hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say if I had to vote to pick a side, I mean, I'd say probably neutral.
Yeah. Okay. So you grew up in southern Mississippi, and if you didn't get into football like your brother did, there wasn't a lot of other opportunities there. So what happened? How did you get into the casino business? Obviously, that was the main industry there when you were growing up. I would imagine.
Truly by accident.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I'd graduated college, and then I had moved to Milwaukee and was a mutual fund accountant for the largest bank in Wisconsin at the time. And Brett, with his operating partner Dick Montfort, the Montfort brothers owned they owned Montfort Beef, but they owned the Colorado Rockies today.
Okay. Right.
And Dick Montfort, who was the operating partner, decided to open up a Brett Favre Steakhouse downtown Milwaukee. So I ended up becoming the assistant general manager for it. Opened it and was working at it, and whatever reason, I don't really know why, but Dick Monfort had me call Tom Brosey, who at the time was head of Grand Casinos.
Right.
And they served on Famous Dave's barbecue board together.
Right.
So that was the relationship between them two.
Okay.
I just did what I was asked to do, which
Yeah.
was basically make a phone call to Tom Brosey about a protein promotion. It had nothing to do with gambling.
Really.
And made the phone call and executed the protein promotion, and that was it.
Yeah.
But on that call with Tom, I did ask some questions, because this is right after gambling had been launched in Mississippi, and you hear people say, "Oh, it's never going to make it. It's going to go belly up. It's going to bring in all the crime, prostitution, high bankruptcies, all these things," and I really didn't know. So I asked Tom. I said, "Well, is gambling here, in Mississippi to last? Is this going to stay?" Absolutely. And he said it's going to be here to stay for a long time. It's going to be an economic benefit that's not going to go away,
Mhm.
and will be here to last. Executed protein promotion. About 4 months later, get a phone call from his assistant, says he would like to meet with me. At the time, the corporate office was in Minnetonka,
Right.
Minneapolis,
That's right. Yeah.
and they were moving it to Gulfport, like sometime that year.
Right.
And I said, "Well, why does he want to meet with me? I mean, like, what for?" And she goes, "I think he wants to offer you a job." So I flew into Minneapolis, and an hour into the meeting, I was working for Grand, and I had no idea what I was doing. Joe Galvin had walked by, and he said, "Hey, Joe." Tom said, "Joe, come here and meet Jeff. He's joining the company." Thinking to myself, like, "Well, I am? What am I doing? How much am I being paid?" I knew nothing, but it was by accident. I had not circulated any resumes. I wasn't looking for a job. I was pretty content with what I was doing, and been in business ever since.
Right. Well, I know Tom had a really good eye for talent, so if he picked you, he knew what he was doing. I can tell you.
And Tom, I'm very appreciative to him for everything that he did. I wouldn't be here today
Hmm.
if Tom wasn't in my life or didn't give me the opportunity. So very appreciative, and taught me a lot.
Yeah.
The New York projects that we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
Tom was kind of the main guy behind it, spearheading it, and he was right.
Yeah.
I did learn a lot real fast.
Yeah.
I did learn a lot real fast.
You must have for sure.
But he taught me a lot, and very thankful for the opportunities that he gave me.
Great. So let's go back to Philly for a second here. We've, you know, the casino is located in the Stadium District of Philly, and it's a perfect location. You know, you go right next to the baseball stadium. You know, a short walk to the football stadium, and then hockey arena is on the other side. How does that help you? You know, market the table games there.
You know, I do want to say, you know, I've been to a lot of stadiums over the years,
Yeah,
but this is probably the most unique setup that I've experienced.
right.
You know, all the years that I've been going to ball games, and I think it's a fabulous setup. I'm very, very pleased and very fortunate that I've got to be a part of it. It brings you a lot of exposure for people that I don't want to say that normally wouldn't come,
Right.
but definitely gives you exposure for people that you maybe not wouldn't have the opportunity to see that often. So I think that, you know, with some of the events, we got a pretty stellar year with a
Sure,
lot of
well,
the
coming
events
up,
going on.
yeah. You've got the World Cup for one thing. I was at a game last year. My son took me, and we saw it was the Club World Cup, and it was a crazy team from Brazil, and
Yeah,
you know those people are nuts. So you're gonna get a lot of international
yeah,
travelers coming
we have
through.
World Cup. We just had March Madness.
Right?
We had
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
events for March Madness. We have the home run derby contest. We have a lot
Yeah.
really this year that to benefit from and to partake in, and the 250th anniversary of our country.
Sure.
So there's really a lot going on. You know, from a marketing standpoint, I think what you know, all I ask is that, you know, we're thought of.
Hmm.
I do have some involvement in helping craft some of it, but for the most part, it's just about my team and I just
Yeah.
making sure that we execute.
Hmm.
Because if we do what we're supposed to and we execute, then we'll be fine. Let marketing do their part, because really some of it is it's they're already coming.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
coming.
Sure.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
It's hard to manage the crowd, you know,
Yeah.
and keeping the tables, you know, clutter free and the
Right. Sure.
right butts in the right seat at the
I'm
right
sure
time.
you're gonna get a lot of your best players coming in at the same time and giving them
Some
the
of them
sweets
actually
and
stay away. Some of them, so like,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
we'll have a
Yeah.
conversation, be like, hey Roger, you know what, just stay tonight. We got your
Right.
room. You know, we got your food taken care of. Stay. You need transportation, we'll take care of that. Whatever it is you need. But if they leave and they're probably not going to come back
Mhm.
and fight the traffic and all that, because it can become a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And you know, so for that reason, that's what we try and do, is just get them to, you know, stay
Sure.
and not leave.
A friend of mine used to run the casino at Dover Downs in Delaware, and he would say when the NASCAR race was there, it was the worst week for his casino. You know that people that his players would stay away, and it didn't attract enough players to replace them.
Similar outcomes at times.
Yeah.
Similar outcomes. If we don't do anything to kind of be proactive in keeping them there, then a lot of times you'll see a lower drop, because when the event starts, you know, the traffic in and out, it becomes a challenge to get through that. And if we have them already on property, then, you know, we have them captured. But if not, them getting in sometimes, you know, as soon as the game's over with, a lot of times 3, 4 hours, when they know
Yeah.
that the traffic is gone and
Right.
it's not there,
Yeah.
you'll start seeing them trickle back in.
Yeah. No question. So one more question. Right before you came to Live, you were running a charitable casino in New Hampshire that the company owned. What's it like running that? Because that's kind of a strange situation where you have to give some of your revenue to charities.
You know, it was a unique experience for me.
Hmm.
It was the first time that I didn't care encountered charitable gaming in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
You know, the way I and forgive me anyone that listens to this, but I just looked at it as it's the same as being taxed from the city or the state
Right.
or the municipality or whoever the taxing authority was. Kind of looked at it as the same as that,
Yeah.
you know, and but it went to good causes. And I'm
Sure.
not saying that taxes are a good cause for, you know, governments and their needs and reasons for why they do it, but um, the hard part was you had to have them in order to operate.
Right.
So, and the license that we were operating under, you had to have two of them a day.
Mhm.
If you didn't have, say if you only had only one, well, you couldn't operate.
Yeah.
You couldn't open that day. So
Yeah.
getting the charitable groups lined up and getting all that squared away administratively to be able, and they had to be approved. So
Right, yeah,
you know,
sure.
there was certain criteria that they had to, to meet
Yeah.
in order for you to be able to select them.
Right.
So it's not like you could just go out and, find somebody that's not a 501c3, that's
Right,
not,
yeah.
IRS, approved, that it's not in good standing with the, the
Yeah.
Attorney General or Secretary of State of New Hampshire. So there was a lot of things that, we had to make sure that was done.
Yeah.
And then we had to get them all lined up. You can only have so many days that they could do it.
Right, yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so
Yeah.
it was a chore kind of
Yeah,
figure.
sure.
It's not coming from that, that jurisdiction. I mean, it was new to me.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. I think it's a good model. I mean,
Yeah, I love that model,
I do
yeah.
think it's a good
Yeah,
model.
it beats the taxes going into the black hole of the state,
Yeah.
when you actually do some good with the money, so,
Overall,
But it's the same kind of situation that once you do that, set that all up, it's just a casino.
yeah, it was a casino pretty much. I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, it was short-lived, but one that I'll certainly be fond of and remember, for quite some time.
Right.
I've done a lot of crazy projects over the years,
Yeah.
Roger, and that's certainly one of them.
Yeah, yeah, no question. Well, hopefully you'll see a lot more, and be head of a couple of new casinos as they open up. Jeff, thanks for taking the time
Thanks,
for
Roger.
joining us. Really nice to meet you, and we'll follow your career as you move forward.
Got it. Appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.